Hey Dan,
What's up, Carolyn? How are you?
great, how are you?
Doing well.
Great, so we're here to talk about the October issue of Bonezone, which has a spine theme, and there's certainly no shortage of topics that we could have covered, as it relates to the spine market. Um, you know, we've been thinking and talking a lot about spine with several conferences coming up, including NASS, and I attended NASS's Innovation Network Summit back in June, where there was a lot of conversation between industry and surgeons just around what technologies are really needed to move the spine market forward. So some of the topics that we covered, I guess first, enabling technology. It was one of the features that you wrote about. Can you just share a little bit about what trends we're seeing right now in the enabling technology space?
Yeah, absolutely. It's enabling technologies are no longer an optional add-on. They're essential components of strategic growth throughout the market. Incremental improvements to implants are no longer enough to secure market share. So companies that are rising in spine are building strong technology portfolios, digital ecosystems. So it was really interesting to dive into that aspect of the market and learn more about some of the technologies that are, pushing companies forward. Particularly Dr. Bo Standish of Orthofix provided some excellent insights in terms of, you know, adoption of great technology. It demands the technology is great, but it also demands, trust and relevance and ease of use. So, among surgeons. So I think companies are going down both roads. They're creating excellent platforms, but also working to integrate them into operating room workflows.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's interesting about the enabling technology space right now, specific to spine, is that we're seeing technology companies enter this space. We're seeing, from just uh, an agnostic standpoint, right, with navigation and robotics, and it really is. We're seeing a lot of smaller companies, right, enter the space as well with those tools, whether it's maybe like a choice spine or spine art are getting into the robotic space, with things with help from companies like Essential Robotics, but it's not just the big players anymore. So I think that certainly will be a trend to watch in the future.
And among the big players, though, Stryker divested its spine implant business to VB Spine earlier this year, but was certainly held on to the Mako Spine robot. That was important to them in that deal. So, and they've talked about how that platform is key to their strategic growth. So, it's obvious what enabling technology, what role it's playing in the future of spine.
Absolutely. Another topic that we talked about is materials and just the material evolution in spine. I think materials has always, at least since I've been in orthopedics, been a polarizing topic when it comes to spine. There was titanium, then there was PEEK, then there was titanium covered PEEK, and now, there's certainly a lot of adoption of additive manufacturing and porous titanium. So, what were some of the experts that we talked to? What were they saying about the future of materials?
Yeah, the article really dove into some of the developments you mentioned: porous metals, bioactive coatings, advanced polymers. They're really expanding the design possibilities in the space, and there's some exciting developments in terms of implant design and performance. Companies are realizing that materials allow them to bridge the gap or bridge the latest design and manufacturing technologies to create cutting edge implants in terms of their performance in the body. We talked to a representative from Next Spine, who provided some interesting insights along those lines, and Matt Schomper, a friend of the magazine, from Not a Robot Engineering, who has spoken at Omtech. He's a really interesting expert in the field, and he provided some great feedback and insights into how materials are just advancing the space in implant design.
And then the third major spine feature was on motion preservation. What did you learn about that space?
Yeah, so motion preservation is an interesting topic in spine. Spinal fusion is still currently the standard of care in terms of treating vertebrae instability, but the companies that are betting on motion preservation believe it signals the future of spine care. We talked to for the article we talked to Synergy Spine, Sentinel Spine, High Ridge Medical, which are three companies that are really pushing the movement toward maintaining the spine's natural movement. And their belief is that it, improves clinical outcomes, but also patients are more interested in that. They hear fusion and, think that they're going to lose mobility in the spine and after surgery. So there's a growing interest in, maintaining that natural movement among companies, surgeons, and patients. Is it widespread yet? No, but it could be what's next in terms of treating degenerative disc disease.
Great. We'll certainly look forward to, again, sharing all of our features on the spine market with our readership. Let's just talk lastly about our OSMA update. So OSMA is a Orthopedic Surgical Manufacturers Association. We have a great relationship with them, and they help contribute regulatory articles to Bonezone. So what was that topic?
Yeah, we hit on, just some of the OUS markets, and some of the opportunities there for companies that are willing to understand the local regulations and dive in and really make a commitment to those markets. Japan, India, Asia Pacific regions. This was based on the OSMA's summer virtual series. They had some interesting experts speak about each specific market and what it takes to not only enter the market but succeed commercially. So, OUS markets account for $20 billion in sales in 2024. That's 33% of the global orthopedic market. So, the countries they hit on, they present challenges certainly to long-term success, but also plenty of incentives to dedicate the resources to understanding the local regulations and really pushing to get your devices in there. So the article I think presents an interesting overview of each market and just what it takes to succeed. So I'm anxious for people to read it.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you for sharing that insight with us, Dan.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, thanks for joining today. We have plenty of other great articles in the October issue. We have an article on ACL repair. We have an article on how companies are looking to treat knee osteoarthritis. Another article on smart ways to lower product development costs. So you can read the digital edition and subscribe to receive the magazine at bonezonepub.com/magazine. And we'd love for you to like this video and subscribe to the Ortho World YouTube channel to stay up to date on our industry interviews and market analysis. Thanks for watching.